Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's get into this whole um Michael and Nina. Let's get into this portion of it because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Michael's attitude. Okay, this is after he talks to Valentine. This is after he talks to Jax, and they have some quick words or whatever. Um, You know, Michael was like, "So you mean that time that you blackmailed, right?" Like, "Oh, I like to call it negotiation. You mean blackmail, right?" Yeah. Blackmail. And once again, Jack goes on this whole, defending Nina crap, and it was just like the same thing that a lot of these other people are doing. But Jax is being Jax, and Michael's not trying to hear it. Now, Nina, is sitting in the booking station or whatever. Well, she's sitting in an interrogation station, and Scott comes there to sit there and be a lawyer, and Ava's like, "Listen, you do got an ace in the hole, okay? That whole time that you and Sonny or Mike or whatever." So she tells her about this. She's like, "Yo, listen, if push comes to shove, because they're thinking that Sonny is the one that called the cops." And I'm not gonna lie, it would be like, I wouldn't sit there and say it would be smooth, but it'd be like, all right, 1 minute you're sitting there talking and everything's going peaceful. Next thing you know, you got two guys sitting there coming up to you talking about you arrested. So if Sonny did that, it would just seem so much like a waste of time at that point. Um, and I'm gonna be honest. Like I did hear from one of my lovely subscribers and a couple other subscribers about why Nina could be charged and everything like that, and I'm still just like, it's kind of, I understand it, but I guess for somebody who doesn't do law or anything like that, it just seems kind of like, all right, I get it, but like, she's practically being charged for being a bad person. Okay, a lot of people can be charged for being bad people. It just depends on the grade, but okay, you know what? At this point, I don't even care. I don't even care because that's how much I don't like Nina, and I'm enjoying her being, um, you know, her going through this. I'm enjoying this because, to be honest, it just seems like, but ever since she's been back, it has been very light by some people. Yeah, Michael, well, not Michael, not yet, but like Jocelyn, Carly, were giving her the smoke. Sonny was in the beginning, but then he kind of like eased up, and it was like, bro, what are you doing? You like, what are you doing? And Jax is defending her. Ava's on her side. So I felt like she didn't really get the punishment that she deserved. Hell, even Willow was like, "Well, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you should sit there and call the cops." I feel like that's kind of cruel. So one by one, they all find out that Nina's getting arrested. And they get down there. They get down to the arraignment and everything like that. And they have a couple of words. Ava's like, "I can't believe you did this." The son is like, "I can't believe you did this." Like, you're like cool or whatever. Like, I get that she did something, but like, damn, you took it like too far. And then Michael, because I was waiting for it. Michael was like, "Nah, you want to be mad at somebody? Be mad at me." And Carly and Sonny just sat there and just looked at him, and I'm like, yes, this is the Michael I've been waiting to see. Okay, I've heard stories. I heard stories when he went after Sonny and he was just ruthless as hell. And in some ways, I'm kind of kicking myself because that's when I took a vacation, um, a little bit of a break from watching GH. And ever since then, Michael's been this character that's been like, all right, he has the best qualities of Sonny and Carly, and yet there's very little times that he'll sit there and take advantage of either of them, you know. And then you had this whole Willow and Chase and Michael crap that I just been like, bro, what are you doing? You know, like I always felt like in some ways like they were just kind of wasting him. Like, yeah, he was there to sit there and punch in the clock and say a couple of lines, but like he didn't really do much of anything. I mean, even when he was with Sasha, it was like, all right, cool, he's dating Sasha and blah 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 blah. Now he's dating Willow and it's blah 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 blah. Now he's dating Willow behind Chase's back. All right, this is somewhat interesting, and now it's not interesting anymore, and now this needs to be over. So I felt like they've been kind of wasting him for a little bit. Now seeing him do this is what I want to see him doing. Like I need to see him doing something interesting, other than just being there for the sake of just being there. We was like, yeah, I did it, and I was like, yes. Nina was all surprised, like, you did this? Like she really sat there and just looked at him like she was really surprised, like, I can't believe he actually did this. It's like, yo, what is wrong with this chick? I don't understand how she just sat there and looked at him like she was surprised. I mean, maybe, Michael has always been like more the calm, peaceful one and, giving chances and stuff like that. But I'm like, hey, you wasn't there trying to sleep with my boy and think that he's soft. Like, you got another thing coming. I remember the days when I used to actually be, like, annoyed with Gladys. Like, I mean, vividly kind of annoyed. Every time that she spoke and just said something stupid, I would just get annoyed. And now it's just like, I kind of expect that. It's like every time I see Gladys, I'm just like, she's about to do something stupid and annoying. Alright, let's just see what this is. And of course she does. She annoys Brooklyn. I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand how this woman actually made it this far in life without her son. But even before that, even before like her son was like little, whatever, like how did she make it through life? I feel like somebody like that must have got fired from nearly every single job that they've had. But then again, I think Brooklyn wasn't it saying that she was involved in some sort of shady Ponzi scheme or whatever. So I can see her doing something like that, but just like any regular normal job, nah, that chick would have been got fired a long time ago. And so she annoys Brooklyn by sitting there saying, oh, you're Generation Z or Y, whatever, and you don't remember your baby, and yeah, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hilarious, her sitting there trying to come down hard on Brooklyn about motherhood, and I'm like, really, Gladys? You really want to sit there and start going at somebody else about being a mother? This is what you, okay, all right, and this is one of those things. I was thinking of the analogy. You could just tell this woman is just so, like, just not self-aware, or just how much of a train wreck she is as a mother, as a human being in general, but as a mother. But yeah, she comes at Brooklyn, and she's all like, oh, you act like you didn't have a child, and, like, you didn't even remember your child, and blah, 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 blah. So, Sasha pulls it to the side, and it's like, yo, listen, don't get on her nerves. Like, stop being you for like 5 minutes, and could you act like somewhat of a decent person? And it's sad because it's one of those things where it was like, yo, Sasha must be like 20 years younger than her, okay? And so to be sitting there having to talk, having somebody talk to you and trying to get you to understand what you're doing is wrong, and they are years younger than you, that this person's screwed. But eventually, she somewhat, I'm going to be honest, she didn't really do that much of anything. The minute that they got back to the table, Sasha was like, don't you have something to say to Brooklyn? And she was like, what? Well, what do I got to say? I'm like, of course. Now, Gladys did sit there and say that, one of the things that she does as far as notes, trying to remember stuff, is that she records it, and then she writes it down or whatever, and yada, yada, yada. But she records the meetings that goes on. And she recorded when Brooklyn said that, Valentine was not the father. Because Valentine called and, she felt all guilty because, Valentine got hurt. Um, and so, Brooklyn was like, man, when he finds out that Bailey is not his child, man. So she pretty much confessed to a recording that she didn't know that she was being recorded. Um, and so when they all came back, Gladys grabbed her phone, and I guess she went back to the office. And so as she was sitting there doing her notes, and she was playing it, she overheard Brooklyn say that Valentine was not the father. And at that point, I was like, oh man, you done gave the secret to like the worst person, one of the worst people I've seen on the soap opera. And I gotta sit there and double check that because, I've been watching about 3 to 4 soap operas now. But I would sit there and say that she's probably the worst person to sit there and keep a secret. I'm gonna double check that towards the end, but when I saw that, I was like, ah, man. So this is. I was like, man, I wonder what Gladys is gonna do now. I don't know. Something to sit there and screw with someone else. I'm sure of that, because, it's not like she's a decent human being, so. Yeah. Nina did choose to be extradited to Keystone, or I wanted to say Lamfair, but she did, decide to go down there to Pennsylvania. This way, they can bail her out. Which I'm gonna be honest, I don't really understand that. So I understood what Scott was sitting there saying. Scott was like, listen, if you fight them moving you, then you're gonna be stuck here with no bail because they're gonna consider you a risk. But if you go down there, then they can sit there and bail you out. I'm like, well, what's the difference? You're a flight risk no matter if you're in Port Charles or if you're in Pennsylvania, because well, you still have money. So I don't really understand. Okay, sure. Whatever, Scott. I guess that makes sense to you because it sure as hell does not make sense to me. Oh, and I forgot to sit there and say Max was there. But yeah, Max was there talking to Brooklyn with Sasha and, of course, our favorite gal, Gladys. Jason and Britt. I'm not gonna lie, I found it kind of funny in the beginning when, Britt got to the bar or whatever. Britt was like, I want to drink or whatever. And the bartender was like, yeah, the other guys, your other friends or whatever cleaned us out. After Britt was like, yo, they ain't our friends. I mean, we know each other, but we ain't friends or whatever. And Jason just dropped down a wad of cash and was like, yo, go buy some alcohol. like, alright, I don't know if that's just a boss move or that's just like, I mean, the bar is out of alcohol. And instead of going to, I don't know, anywhere else, Jason's like, yo, go get some alcohol. Excuse the hell out of me, okay. But they talk for a little bit, and Jason takes a call from Dante. Now, the guy who felt, I guess, a little bit kind of guilty about betraying Victor shows up with a gun, pointing at Britt. Britt managed to stall until Jason gets there. Which I'm not gonna lie, there was one point where Britt said something out loud like, hey, listen, you can lower down the gun or whatever, something. I'm sitting there thinking, alright, so this guy's gonna turn around because she just randomly shouted for, like, no reason. I'm sitting there thinking, alright, this guy's gonna turn around or whatever. Nope, he just still points the gun at Britt, and Jason, of course, disarms him because, well, he's Jason, and that's just pretty much what he does. So he takes him out. Now, granted, this guy is bleeding, but Drew shot him. So they try to stabilize him, and the guy does give up some information of where they think that Leeds is being held, some sort of island or whatever. So after the ambulance comes, Jason and Britt, because Britt was like, maybe we should call Anna, and Jason was like, nah, we not doing that. I don't trust those people. I don't trust Anna. Nah, we doing this on our own. So there you go. The bartender, the minute that they leave, calls on Nicholas. So, yeah. You know, even on Valentine's damn near deathbed, Anna will not admit her feelings to Valentine. There is one point where they're sitting there talking, and I think the conversation turns about death or whatever, if he dies or whatever. And, Anna's like, well, you can't die because... Now, granted, I'm sitting there looking at my phone like, because why? Like, because why? And he says so too. And I'm like, okay. I was like, maybe I should put down my phone. Maybe I should put down my phone and listen to what she has to say, because this is going to be the moment, right? This is going to be the moment where my guy Valentine gets a shine, and, she admits how she feels, and, we can kind of get this whole romance or whatever thing going, right? We can do this, all right? Okay, I'm going to put down my phone. All right, Anna. And then she makes up something like, oh, well, if he dies, then, I don't know, I never hear the end of it or something like that. I was like, okay, so, Anna, I don't know what men actually see in this woman. I really don't. I don't personally think she's really attractive at all. I don't even think that she's really that pretty. I like the accent. I'm always a sucker for accents, but besides that, I don't really understand what they see in her. But anyways, she's about to confess, and she changed it to something else. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I can sit there and go back on my phone now, because you're just going to talk about, I don't know, something else that's not involved with you admitting your feelings, but, whatever. I guess she'll sit there and say something along the lines of, where's too soon, or some other BS. But yeah, Valentine talks to Brooklyn and tells them what's going on, and then he gets, I guess, flown out to Port Charles so that way he can get surgery. Because apparently whatever hole in the wall that they are in can't perform such complex surgery. So, yeah. I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. See you in the next video.